y'all, so I came across something very interesting that an Asian man said about Wasians. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, Wasians are, I mean, they're like Blasians, but they're white and Asian instead of black and Asian. I mean, it's the age-old story how an evil boy meets an evil girl. Not really, no. But what I'm saying is it's the age-old story about how people steal every term that black people come up with and make it about themselves. It's like, it gets very corny, but that's not even the point of this video, okay? So this Asian guy made a post about Wasians, people who are white and Asian, and he said, Wasians aren't Asian. Most Wasians are the genetic outcome of pervasive internalized hate or white idealism within Asian diasporic communities, driven by a desperate urge to assimilate into whiteness. Wasians don't live Asian, experience Asian, or marry Asian. 70% of Japanese Americans under the age of 30 are half or 3/4 white. This isn't normal. Ooh, y'all. Ooh, you know I got a lot to say about this. Let's dive into this baby, Baba Bookie, because when I tell you this man, oh, baby, he ate, oh, he looked, my compliments to the chef type shit, because he really ate you hoes the fuck up. Most Wasians are the genetic outcome of pervasive internalized hate or white idealism within Asian diasporic communities, driven by a desperate urge to assimilate into whiteness. Is that not the exact same thing that happens in the black community with these mulattoes? Like, I'm finna reread this and I'm gonna replace Wasian with mulattoes. Most mulattoes are the genetic outcome of pervasive internalized hate or white idealism within black communities, driven by a desperate urge to assimilate into whiteness. Did that not read perfectly well? Y'all, it's so interesting to see how this happens across different races, across different cultures. This is just clearly a worldwide phenomenon. How many self-hating black people have you heard talk about how they hate their blackness and how they plan to have biracial children to deal with the hatred that they have for themselves and their blackness? How many? Now, very rarely do they come right out and say, I can't stand myself, right? Usually you hear it in different little ways. Like, actually, I just saw somebody posting today about placenta perms, okay? You know, when your baby comes out, they got curly hair and stuff. Black people call it a placenta perm because usually, you know, the child's hair is not going to stay like that, right? And the comments were full of people because the post was like, oh, yeah, people were saying, yeah, the placenta perm isn't going to last, but look at this, right? Basically, she was saying, oh, my child still has, I mean, type 3 whatever hair, right? And the comments were full of people like, oh, yeah, she has good hair. Yeah, like if you take care of it, then the placenta perm will stay. Again, like I've spoken about this before in other videos, how people have this mentality that 4C hair is just not taken care of. If you take care of your hair well enough, it's going to become a looser curl pattern, right? So there was a lot of these anti-black, anti-4C, anti-kinky hair thoughts under this video, right? My point again is that usually you don't hear black people say, oh, I hate my blackness, yada, yada, yada. Usually it comes off as something like, oh, that person has good hair, or, oh, I want light-skinned kids. It'll be somebody darker than me talking about, yeah, I want light-skinned kids or something. You know, usually they speak in parables. This is a reality. Black people are forced to assimilate into whiteness. We are the opposite of whiteness. Everything about us is the antithesis of white supremacy, right? And the easiest way to assimilate into whiteness is to be white. You know what I'm saying? If you have a child with a white person, your child is going to have a much easier time assimilating into whiteness than your black ass is, because that child is white adjacent, right? Y'all, like this man, baby, I got to give him a, how you say thank you in Japanese? Arigato. Baby, itadakimasu, because we eating these hoes up. Come on now, right? Then he goes on to say, Wasians don't live Asian, experience Asian, or marry Asian. That's just, I mean, like, this is my thing. I don't know nothing about Asians or Wasians. I'm not part of their community. But thinking about this from the black and mulatto perspective, that's just obvious. Mulattoes don't live black. They don't experience black. And they don't even marry black. Now, this is my thing. I don't like the marry black part because I don't like when people say to mulattoes, oh, yeah, if you marry a black person, then you black. But if you marry a white person, then you're white. Like, how does who you marry change your race? Either way, you're not black, right? But the don't live black and don't experience black, that is a fact. Now, hold up. Let me be very clear. In no way am I saying that mulattoes don't experience any form of oppression. That is not what I'm saying, right? Because this world is horrifically anti-black. So if you're even half black, you're going to experience something. Because the world hates black people so much that they hate folks who ain't even black just because they might got a drop of it in them, right? So I'm not saying that you all don't experience any form of oppression, but this is the reality as well. You will never experience what actual black people experience. You just won't, right? Now, of course, you go through oppression. I'm not saying that you don't, but you're never going to go through what a real black person goes through. You got it way better than any real black person. That's just the reality of the fact. And if you come under this video playing in my face, oh, I get treated like a baboon too. No, you don't. You absolutely don't. Now, I'm not saying you don't get treated bad because, like I said, the world is so anti-black that, you know, people who are not even black will be treated poorly just based off proximity to us, right? I'm not saying you don't go through anything, but you absolutely don't go through what actual black people go through. That's obvious. Take a moment to just look at TV. 90% of the black representation until very, very recently was mulattoes. So the acceptable form of blackness is whiteness, quite literally. Like, black people are so unacceptable that we cannot even represent ourselves. Now, there's a whole lot to go into that with the differences in gender, because you'll notice that this more so heavily applies to black women, not so much black men, right? Like, for example, in the Hunger Games, Rue and the boy from her district were both supposed to be black. But you'll notice in the movie, Rue was cast as a biracial girl, but the boy from her district was still cast as black. So that raises the question, well, why can a black man represent black men, but a black woman cannot represent black women, right? Like, that raises that question, okay? And of course, that brings up this whole topic of how blackness is masculinized. So black women are viewed as too masculine to portray ourselves, while black men are fine portraying themselves, right? But in no way am I saying that this masculinization of blackness does not negatively impact black men, because the reality is this masculinization means that black people, period, are perceived as more aggressive, more threatening, more yada, yada, yada. So black people, period, for example, are shot more quickly by the cops. Like, when cops are training, they're shooting targets. The darker targets are shot more quickly than the lighter targets. But whatever, I'm getting off track now. Anyway, he goes to close this post up by saying 70% of Japanese Americans under the age of 30 are half or 3/4 white. This isn't normal. Thank you. Thank you. Why are we pretending that people half or 3/4 black are black? That's not even where they stop with black people. It'll be somebody who is literally white. Not even like, oh, you know, I'm half white or I'm 3/4 white, even though that's white too, right? It'll be somebody, they ain't even got a black grandparent. It'll be a black great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparent. It'll be a white person with a little bit of a tan. And they'll be talking about, yeah, I am black too, my dog diggity. I'm not arguing with you. Like, what? What is going on here? Now, I have to get into the comments, because one of the comments had me like, like, Chile. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hyper because I had some coffee, and I don't know, that just had me on 10, because I'm completely sober, for real, okay? So one Wasian commented and said, you're just jealous because I'm Asian with green eyes. Asians don't have green eyes. You have green eyes because you're half white or 3/4 white or whatever, baby. You have green eyes because you're white, right? And you're sitting here telling an Asian that they're jealous of you because of your whiteness and your white features. Does this not sound familiar? It's the age-old story how an evil boy meets an evil girl. Like, does this not happen all the time? This is the age-old story of the biracial. They come under my YouTube channel with this all of the time. They're about to be under this video. You're just jealous of my golden skin and my curly hair. Ain't nobody jealous of you because you have black, bitch. Like, what are you saying, right? But clearly this is not just the mulattoes who do this. This is anybody half white who do this. Y'all must be having like secret meetings or something. Like, what is going on? Y'all all got the same rhetoric. Y'all will sit there and tell the monoracial people of your non-white half that they are jealous of you because of your white features that you got from being part white. And then you act surprised when we like, yeah, you're racist. Like, what? I say this all the time about mulattoes, and clearly it's true of different types of biracials, right? They have this unique positioning that they use to uphold white supremacy in their own unique way. And I mean, I'm not surprised, because what can you expect from the children of cave folk besides to be caving? Like, come on now, right? But it's like they put this new spin on white supremacy, because it's like they're not full white, so they can't really like be white supremacist in the traditional way that full white people are. But baby, they manage. They put their own look, and baby, they put their thing down, flipping and reverse. Like, baby, like, it's so interesting to see other communities talking about this with the biracials of their own community, and then the biracials of their community using the exact same talking point that these mulattoes use. You're just jealous of me because I'm not full baboon. I'm not full ramen eater. Like, oh my God, y'all. Like, it's just wow. It's crazy, because it's almost like I've been right this entire motherfucking time, but we all knew that already.